YouTube, what's going on? In this dose, we're going to be reacting to a video of a woman saying that she believes men are inferior to women because they will always simp for them. But before we react to it, you guys already know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and share the content with your family, friends, colleagues, and peers so that they can ingest the Q pill as well. Let's get a dose of this shit. Saw this video on Twitter of this woman saying men are inferior to women. I have no idea who this woman is. I have no idea who the interviewer is, but I had to react to it because it just allows us to see that women are well aware, they're cognizant of the fact that men simp for them, and this makes them feel superior. Men are willing to do whatever they can for a piece of vagina, and it's actually annoying to see men try to do this because they don't understand that sexual selection is a two-way street and it's not necessary. A woman will send you choosing signals, and once she sends you choosing signals, that is your sign to engage her. The definition of a simp is men who invest too much into women with the hopes that she will give them sexual access when she has no interest in reciprocating to begin with. And that's what a lot of men do. They simply try to convince women why they're worthy of being selected to penetrate her. And of course, this is rooted in our biology. It's animalistic at its core, but a woman will come at you or let you know that she wants you to approach her before you even have to say or do anything. And it's the simps who don't understand this because they typically don't get choosing signals from women. So what do they have to do? They have to work a little harder, and then they become the examples of what this woman in this video that we're about to watch is talking about.
I think that men are just inferior to women. I think no matter what, a powerful man will simp to a woman. Therefore, a woman in every circumstance in life is superior to a man. Any man, if you make more money than me, if you're stronger than me and you're taller than me, you'll still simp for me every single time. So I'm still superior.
So y'all saw the clip there. First, let me just start off. I know she misspoke because I have no idea what inferior means. I'm just going to assume that she meant superior, and it could be because English is not her first language. But what do you guys think about what she said? You guys agree with that? Because I will say there's a degree of validity to that. But she goes on to say that even powerful men, no matter how tall, how wealthy, how strong they are, in every circumstance in life will always simp for a woman, so therefore women are superior. This is the attitude that y'all have allowed these modern women to take on because y'all make fools out of yourselves trying to win their sexual selection. If that woman is not interested in you from jump, you can't tell she's interested in you from the jump, then she's not interested in you. It's probably best to abort mission. It's probably best to let go of any hopes that you have of getting with this woman. And you know what really annoys me is the fact that I see this constantly in Instagram comment sections, TikTok comment sections, just the amount of love bombing that these men will engage in for women that they don't even know. Baby this, baby that, hard eyes, thirst, mommy this, mommy that. That shit is embarrassing, honestly. In your mind as a guy, why do you think she's going to read your comment when you're commenting the same things as every other man? She doesn't follow you. She doesn't know you. There's not an ounce of rationality. There's not an ounce of inhibition that any of these men on social media demonstrate when it comes to following these models, subscribing to their OnlyFans, DMing them, commenting on their pictures. It's not an ounce of rationality, discipline, or inhibition they demonstrate. They just go full force lusting and let the woman know that they're lusting over them. And this is what she's talking about. So if they'll do that with these women that they'll never be able to attract, can you imagine how they would behave if they actually could attract these women? These would be the men that these women take advantage of. These would be the men that these women take for everything that they have. But what I actually wanted to focus on was the caveat, because she said powerful men. And when you say powerful men, are you referring to men of money, of status, of prestige, or are you referring to men who get women? Because yes, while I agree that there are men who are in powerful positions with a lot of money, with a lot of wealth, with a lot of status, who will still essentially simp for a woman. I won't say in every circumstance, because that guy has to have an element of disagreeableness to his personality in order for him to have been as successful as he is to accumulate that level of status and wealth. But where I disagree with her is talking about the men who actually get women. Those powerful men, because they know how women operate. They know how to attract women, and they definitely don't use means of simping to do it. As a matter of fact, they have zero incentive to simp because most of the time the women usually come at them. They know how to handle rejection. They have a I'm the prize attitude. They know that that woman is not going to find a man typically like them. So they know that a woman would essentially be stupid if she didn't take advantage of the opportunity to be with him. It's not like they're going to beg and plead or try to convince the woman as to why she should get with them. They'll just go on about their business. And then in essence, the woman who's used to men simping for her naturally give her this inclination to wonder why he doesn't behave in the ways of which the men that she doesn't want usually behaves. And that's because he has no reason to. He has the skill to attract women. He has the looks to attract women. He has the appeal. He has the charisma. He has the intellect. He has the intelligence. He has the confidence. He has the competence. And the more she starts to wonder, he got her already without ever having to simp, because now she's thinking about why this guy didn't respond to her the way that men that she doesn't want normally responds. And what that does is that creates an allure. She naturally thinks about him. Naturally thinking about him creates attraction. And the last caveat I'll add is that men in relationships typically don't simp. I don't categorize men in relationships as simps because they've already secured a woman's sexual selectivity. Now, of course, when we get in relationships, our T levels go down. We become a lot nicer to our women and we become simp-ish. But at the end of the day, we're still fucking. So we're not technically simps. Apologizing to your woman or trying to create a healthy relationship or some intimacy and having some accountability for what you do wrong is not considered a simp because you're still fucking. So I will say she was erroneous in her perception of men always simping under every circumstance. That simply is not the reality or the nature of a relationship, especially when a man has a woman who he screws on the regular. Now, if she freezes him out from sex and tells him that he can't get it for whatever reason, and he starts to beg and plead that she should be fucking him again, then he becomes a simp. Because if a woman withdraws sex from you in a relationship, then you should just kick her ass to the curb. Sex is not a manipulation tool. We shouldn't allow women to use it as a manipulation tool. If she doesn't want to fuck you, then she doesn't want to be with you. So there's no need for you to even try to convince her to give you what she was once giving you, and now she's taking that off the table. Then you become a simp in that regard if you don't kick her ass to the curb. What I will say is there's a hierarchy of superiority when it comes to mate selection. I wouldn't go as far as to say women are superior to men, because simping doesn't make women superior to men, but what it does is create a dynamic of who's more valuable in the relationship. And I will say there's a hierarchy of sexual market value and a hierarchy of desirability between the sexes. At the bottom, you have men who are undesirable, men who aren't in relationships, men who get no sex, men who get no attention, men who get no time from women. Then you have average looking women above them because they don't want the men below them. They still want men who are higher on the sexual market hierarchy than they are. And then you have the guys and the women in relationships because they have each other, they get sex from each other, they get the time, affection, attention, resources, and comfort and validation that they need from one another. And then you have the men at the top. You have the men at the top, in which most women gravitate towards. They're attractive, confident, capable, competent, charismatic, sense of humor. They have all the attributes that women would love in their men that makes them socially desirable, sexually desirable, financially desirable. The men at the bottom who don't receive attention, they simp. The men at the top, they don't. They have no reason to. They have no incentive to. And I guess you could frame superiority as who's the prize, but I more so frame superiority as who is more skilled in a specific area. And women don't necessarily have to be skilled to be in a relationship. It just means that a woman looks better than the men who want her, and she don't want those men because she looks better than them. So I wouldn't categorize that as superiority. I would just categorize that as asymmetrical physical attractiveness. If she put it that way, she would have a point. But her overarching premise of men being in power will always simp for women under every circumstance in life, and therefore women are superior, I don't agree with that. That just applies to the men that they don't want and the men who have no experience with women. Because the men that they do want, the number one thing that they'll complain about is that those men don't seemingly simp enough. They're toxic, they're assholes, they're jerks because they don't get their way. They hold women accountable, they criticize them, they judge them, they'll even disrespect them if they have to put them in their place. But those are the men that those women typically want. And those are the masculine attitudes that women seemingly sexually respond to. And I'll tell you what situations would take a simp out of his simp mindset. the minute a woman cheats on him or fucks him over. That's a circumstance in which he'll no longer be a simp. I guarantee that. Men learn their lessons when women fuck them over. They man up. They have a paradigm shift. And they become more desirable by virtue of that shift. So no, women would not be superior to the men that they actually want. They would just feel superior to the men that they don't want. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll catch you guys on the next dosage of Q Pill. I'm Suave Q, aka the Q Pill. Over and out.